Showtime!
Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way to your seats.
Showtime!
Please make your way to your seats. The show is about to begin.
Showtime!
Let the magic begin.
Yep.
Unlocking limitless clean energy, nuclear fusion breakthrough. Nuclear fusion breakthrough overcomes key barrier to limitless clean energy. Fusion energy is the ultimate energy source for humanity, researchers.
Yes.
So what's going on
that's what
here?
they're saying, because that's what the sun is, right?
Yep.
So researchers at General Atomics apparently achieved a major milestone in fusion energy by overcoming two key plasma physics barriers. So what they did was they increased plasma density over 20% beyond the Greenwald limit while maintaining confinement for 2.2 seconds, which unlocks a potential pathway to reach fusion gain with net energy output exceeding input, which is what they're looking to do. It needs to be sustainable. So the breakthrough, it was in a small tokamak reactor, but scales to larger reactors like ITER. The high-density fusion plasmas can enable more economical and compact future reactors. But confinement stability at high densities, that's the challenge that remains, and it's transient. So in order for this to happen, further advances in magnet technologies and plasma control are going to be needed in order for prolonged reactions. And I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of a fusion reactor, but it looks like a snake with all these huge, powerful magnets. It's really cool. The picture you have up there, is the ITER. But yeah, anyways, we're still likely decades away from a commercially viable fusion energy. But this helps. This definitely helps the progress. And if we talk about just the experiment itself, right? So, like I said, it was conducted in a spherical tokamak reactor. It used magnetic fields up to 2 Teslas to confine the plasma in a stabilized configuration. So it achieved plasma densities, like we talked about, at temperatures over, listen to this, 15 million degrees Celsius. That's nuts. So, and during the experiment, the fusion power output peaked at 1.35 megawatts. So
What can contain 15 million degrees?
I don't know.
I'm just like,
that's a good question. I should have done some research on that. I didn't even pick up on it until
That's okay. I mean, it just stands out. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
You mentioned a couple of things I want to get into, and I'm playing the video related to this, and it talks about AI and nuclear fusion. What does AI have to do with providing our answers?
Well, here's the thing is AI, the thing with AI, and again, we don't have any real AI yet, and we can get into that later. But what AI can do is it can evaluate multiple scenarios very quickly, very efficiently. It can monitor different levels in nanoseconds, like ridiculous. So, and come up with complex computations much more quickly than we can. So it could help us to, just like trying to find new drug interactions, right? It's similar to this. It can help us to find the right materials, the right equations, and all that sort of stuff in order to move this forward.
So you mentioned, okay, I know what Griswold's is, but what is the Greenwald limit?
Yeah. No, we're not talking about National Lampoons. So the Greenwald limit, it refers to a density limit in the tokamak fusion reactors that was theoretically derived by Martin Greenwald, not Griswold, in 1988, which is that the same year that National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation came out? I don't know. Anyways, it establishes an upper bound on the plasma density before instability occurs. So the significance in this breakthrough is that the Greenwald limit predicts the maximum achievable density based on the plasma current and dimensions of the tokamak. So higher densities were thought to lead to plasma disruptions. Surpassing this limit was a major goal in fusion research to enable smaller, more cost-effective reactors. So it proves that much higher densities can be sustained than previously thought possible. So this is one where we're talking a theoretical limit, and now that they're experimenting with it, they're going beyond that theoretical limit, which is cool. So it opens up a path to push density further upwards towards levels needed for that net energy gain. Again, this is what typically happens. There's two ways that it can happen with experimenting with theories. Is it could overcome the theoretical limit, or it could be below the theoretical limit. This is great because it overcame the theoretical limit.
Yeah, the new reactor that's bigger is expected to be completed in 2025, 23-ton Tomahawk tokamak.
23,000 ton.
Yeah, 23,000 ton. Thank you. Should be capable of generating 10 times more energy than it takes to heat the plasma. And we talked about what could hold 15 million degrees. I guess this thing. The tokamak reactor.
Yeah. So if you see, what those kidney looking cavities, all those little bars in between. So this one is much more advanced than the first few, but all those little metal bars inside there, those are the magnets. It is crazy to see that actually in an actual picture. Like, it's absolutely nuts. But if you look at it from the top down, does it not kind of look like the Iron Man reactor?
I guess so. Yeah.
Obviously, this isn't, because the Iron Man reactor, it's theoretical or it's science fiction. But yeah.
Okay, so it's a little misleading when you say limitless. So how limitless is fusion really, if it depends on, scarce fuels like tritium, or it can produce 10 times the power you put into it? So if you're looking for unlimited energy, how much energy you have to put into it to get this massive output? Or do we try to serial them? So we got one dome nuclear reactor creating the power to power the other ones to, giving it more and more energy. Like, how many of these do we really realistically need to run a futuristic planet?
Yeah, so you bring up a good point. Fusion, it's often described as offering limitless energy, but that claim, it kind of requires some clarification. I don't think we've clarified it, but given its dependence on tritium fuel. So tritium is scarce. It does not naturally occur in large quantities and has a short half-life of just 12 years. But tritium can be produced inside fusion reactors by bombarding lithium with neutrons. So this allows fuel to be bred from abundant lithium. Now, lithium reserves are estimated to be sufficient to power fusion reactors for millions of years. And just to note, I don't know if you know this, but seawater also contains lithium. So the breeding process requires an advanced reactor design and high neutron fluxes, and that's still being engineered. So until tritium, I hate the word that they use, is breeding, is perfected, fusion startups may need tritium harvested from existing sources like nuclear plants. So, but the total tritium inventory needed per reactor is relatively small, with just 10 to 30 grams typically. But total demand obviously could strain that limited supply. So some fusion reactor designs avoid tritium completely by using a proton-boron fusion, which obviously requires an abundant boron. But this process is even more technically challenging, and I haven't even done my research on that one at all. So,
what kind of new magnets would they have had to develop to produce something like this to maintain all that?
Yeah, this is cool. I find magnets fascinating. So, they're likely to require some new magnets and plasma-facing materials. So they're going to need stronger superconducting magnets made with niobium tin or niobium-3 tin alloys in order to sustain the magnetic fields confining the dense plasma. So the magnets need to withstand intense neutron radiation from fusion without losing their superconductivity. So radiation shielding is critical. New high temperature superconductors like rare earth barium copper oxides may have enabled the compact spherical tokamak shaped, but plasma-facing components need materials like tungsten to withstand heat. There we go. To withstand heat loads over 10 megawatts per meter squared from the plasma. So tungsten tiles are likely needed into interlocking shapes to handle the thermal expansion stresses. Novel carbon nanotube composites are also being developed to resist degradation from fusion neutrons. So there's a lot. They're going to have to come up with diagnostic systems, advanced blankets. So extreme demands from the hot, dense plasma that require obviously constant innovation in magnets, plasma-facing materials, diagnostics, and other components in order for this to continue to scale.
Do we know, and this is out of the blue, so because we haven't done the analysis, do we know how these compare to the type of nuclear reactors that Bill Gates is trying to push, their 6th-gen nukes that eat their own material?
No clue. I actually, to be honest, I haven't even looked into, I heard it once and I totally forgot to look into what Bill Gates is developing. I wish I did now, because then I could have spoken to it, but no, I don't.
Well, I think maybe we'll do a nuclear, just talk about the different nuclear technologies and do, I don't know, what do you want to call it, a showdown or whatnot, but just to talk about some of them and what people are trying to do, because this is really cool tech, and staying on the cusp of this is going to be interesting, because we need stuff like this to create clean energy in the future.
We do, yeah.
So I was doing some research and I saw a video from Elon Musk where he says that if you took a nuclear, have you heard him say this?
No, but just Elon Musk. Sorry, I'm laughing.
I know. And I just he said that if you took a nuclear power plant and just removed it, and in the same space put a solar panel farm, you'd generate more electricity. And I couldn't stop laughing. Like, I don't know who he's fooling. Yeah,
I call bullshit. Sorry for cussing.
If that was the case here in Canada, we would be energy abundant. We have lots of space to put up these solar farms.
Yeah. Well, but the difference is nuclear fission can be generated 24 hours, whereas solar power can only be generated when the sun's out. Sun's out, guns out.
Yeah, and all of that. But then we need battery storage and whatnot. But obviously, he's in that area of space. He doesn't want things to change. But it seems like a ridiculous claim. So with this, the next test being in 2025, when do you start seeing commercial fusion reactors?
I love this. Yeah,
coming online.
Yeah. So the cool thing about this is that the latest breakthrough, it demonstrates fusion viability. Okay, but it's still far from power generation. So if the experimental reactors can demonstrate a net energy gain this decade, we could see a prototype demo plant built by the 2030s. But obviously, scaling up to the full size, we're looking at 2040s, 2050s. So the thing is, because the pilots, they'll need to run for years. They're going to have to test reliability, economics, operations, a whole bunch of things to make sure it's safe. The cool thing about this is it doesn't produce nuclear waste, right? So we don't really have to worry about that. But the thing I'm worried about is, could a reaction get out of even with the proper safety measures? Like, we thought even with proper safety measures, there couldn't be a meltdown, and then Chernobyl. So is there risk? I don't even know. I should look into that. But is there risk of an experiment getting out of control and then creating a sun that just keeps growing and growing and growing? Who knows? I doubt it, because it needs fuel, but their projections for the earliest commercial fusion, if the milestones are met, we're looking at 2060 to 2070.
Interesting. I'm looking forward to watching this, and we'll have to see. And having said that, the one other question I'm going to ask, which I'm sure you don't have any idea, how much is this going to cost?
Billions. I think I'm pretty safe with giving that as an answer.
Agreed.
Maybe even trillions. Really. Yeah. Like with things and with the types of materials needed, yeah, we could get into the trillions.
So what do you got going on, John?
Yeah. So we've got this Ryan Wong is amazing. He puts on these curated events. So the next one coming up that I'm going to, and we'll talk about it again because it's not till June 11th, but it's a roundtable on entrepreneur burnout, legal and project management operations, and business and startups and agency owners. So it's a roundtable kind of discussion. It's in Toronto, June 11th. I gave you the link.
I'm showing it to everybody. Yeah.
Feel free to sign up. You have to register, but I have to say Ryan puts on some great events, and Craig, if you're around and you can come, I highly suggest it. One thing is that we're working on maybe some events in the Kitchener-Waterloo or Burlington area, so have a look out for those. But the biggest thing, the one I'm most excited about, is May 30th. We've got startup drinks.
Definitely. I was showing that entrepreneur roundtable. StartupDrinksTO.com, May 30th, Startup Investor Drinks. Come on out and meet with, 60 to 100 entrepreneurs, founders, ecosystem partners, and investors. Pitch to the audience, whatever. If you're got a startup, you want to pitch your startup, great. If you got a business looking for customers, great. If you're, a developer looking for work, great. You can pitch to the crowd. That's the whole point.
And potentially learn some amazing speaking and presenting strategies from the one and only Will Greenblatt if he comes.
He's usually there, and we usually have we have funding experts, pitch experts. We have a lot of people in the room to help people out. So definitely check out Startup.
And we'll give away another $25 GC.
Oh, will we? Excellent. Yes. There you go. Another pitch winner, $25 gift card. Will usually brings a book to give away. We usually have a couple of things.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention, because of that roundtable on entrepreneur burnout, mention to Ryan that maybe he should reach out to, if he can. He might not know them. Happy to connect you to Hamza Khan. He wrote the Burnout Gamble. He does TED talks on it. I've had him come out and speak about burnout for me.
Yeah.
Great speaker. And he wrote the book on burning out. So if you have a chance to include him, that's fabulous. If you have 2 or more developers or are working in tech, maybe people should talk to you, John.
Yeah, if you're developing new tech, if you're using AI, if you're pushing the limits of technology, come talk to me. There's grant funding, there's tax credits. Find me on LinkedIn, JONIRWIN on LinkedIn. You'll see my smiling face.
One thing I want to do, and I'm just mentioning it to you, and I mentioned it to anybody in the audience, I want to do an AI showdown in the next couple of weeks. And so if you have a specific AI that you want us to test and run a few tests on, John and I will be doing a little bit of a showdown and running them through some paces. There's been a few announcements lately today or yesterday or a couple of days ago about GPT-4o, and Google's announced a whole bunch of stuff, which sounds impressive, but I don't know if anybody trusts them anymore now. So based on their launch was so bad, and when I used it, I'm like, I can't trust this for anything.
It's still not that good. Yeah.
And I
went back
and check out everything else at TorontoStarts.com. And as always, if you're stuck in your business and you want to move forward, if you have an idea, don't know how to take it to market, or you're trying to figure out how to productize your knowledge, if you're a subject matter expert or a technical guru and want to turn your knowledge into a book, a course, or a coaching program, go to startupcoach.ca and sign up for a discovery call for me, and we'll get you going.
For sure.
All right, that's it for now, and we'll see you all soon. See you, John.
Thanks. See you, Craig.
Wow, that was amazing.
That is all